Hey everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. I know I haven't done one of these in a little bit, as I just posted that video not too long ago about the T440p. So today we are looking at a Lenovo T440p. I actually just purchased this computer off of eBay. I ended up finding this machine on there for about, I think it was $75, and the rest was some shipping, so I think we were about $98 for just the base machine. The base machine came with a i5 4200M, 8 gigs of memory, a single 8 gig stick, which is actually pretty nice, and then a 500 gigabyte mechanical hard drive. Now, those specifications, the hard drive is going to be your limiting factor in that case. Just trying to boot up the machine, trying to load any applications, it's going to be super slow. So what I did is I went ahead and upgraded this machine with parts that I already had laying around. So I threw in an extra 4 gig stick, and then a 256 gig, I believe, SK Hynix drive, which I don't really recommend SK Hynix drives for long term. I feel like I replace them about either a year, maybe a little bit less than a year each time I put one in. So the drive in there is just going to be temporary. I'm going to swap it out for a Samsung drive. Just don't know what size quite yet. But I do plan on making this into my primary machine as far as day-to-day stuff. I have a gaming laptop as well, but I prefer something a little bit more portable. It's a 15-inch. This is a 14-inch model, so be a lot better. Upgradability is there. Easy access, 2 screws, and you're into this machine. So far the upgrades that I've made to this computer is the i5. I haven't done anything with the processor. The CPUs are actually upgradable on these models. This doesn't have the GeForce GT 730 in it, unfortunately, but it is the base Intel 4600, which it's plenty for my needs. Alright, so now actually getting into the machine, one of the upgrades I did was a 1080p IPS panel. I bought I think it's a Brightfocal unit off of Amazon, searched T440p IPS screen replacement, and this thing had showed up on there, so I went ahead and purchased it. I believe it was like $88, which isn't too bad for a screen, especially with this quality. It's very nice and bright. All the colors are there. It's much better than the panel that had came with this machine, which had a dead pixel on it. It was all green across the screen. Added a webcam privacy cover on there just because I had a spare one laying around. Haven't done any modifications to the trackpad yet. I know you can upgrade it to the T450S or T450 trackpad, but those are the specifications. Got an i5 2400M, 16 gigs of RAM, and it's running Windows 10 Pro. I could put 11 on here, but for what I use, 10's just fine. I also put a 9-cell OEM Lenovo battery into this machine as well. I've used it for, I think, a solid 2 hours of use, and it's already at 77%, which is amazing. Not even my gaming laptop can do that. It's maybe an hour and a half max with everything lowered down to the best it can be before the machine starts to kind of poke around and then it finally dies. Everything about this machine, it looks like it's almost the original 6-cell battery that was on this machine. It was still operating just fine. I believe it had some wear on it. I think it was about 75% battery life health wise, which is super good, especially for the age of this machine. Alright, so now looking at the machine, going ahead and pulling it apart, we're going to look at the bottom portion of it, and I'll also go over the ports. But as you can see, there's the 9-cell battery, which definitely gives this machine a huge battery bump in battery life. Alright, so with the machine now fully undone with its bottom lid, we can see where the memory modules are. So this is the 8 gig stick that came with the machine, and then I added this Team Group RAM. It was the cheapest at the time and the most in stock, so I went ahead and bought it. We have our CMOS battery. We also have our wireless card, which I'm planning on upgrading. This doesn't have the dual band Wi-Fi, so I can't see the 5 gigahertz band. I can only see the 2.4. So that's definitely going to be upgraded to an AC module. I'm not planning on doing any BIOS modifications to this machine. I'm just going to leave it stock just the way it is and use it. As you can see, the i5 4200M. It's a socketed processor, so you can upgrade it to an i7 quad core if you so choosing. There's a bunch of different models. I think I would probably go with like an i7 4700 NQ processor, put it in there. Have this machine just super nice. It's not going to be doing anything super intensive as far as editing photos or editing videos. Maybe editing a video every once in a while. This machine isn't really in mind for gaming, maybe some older titles, but not gaming, just general purpose work, team viewer work, emails, maybe doing a couple of Word documents on it, nothing special. I didn't want to go out on this machine. If anything, if it really comes down to it, I can just do all the work that I do currently. I won't probably upgrade the CPU if I don't have to. It's just another additional cost. With all the i7s they're about $100 on eBay, unfortunately, anymore. Anything that you search up you're looking about anywhere from $70 to $100, so that may be a cost I might make later. But getting to the hard drive, there is a SK Hynix. I believe it's just an SK Hynix OEM drive in there. It's a 256 gig. So I plan on swapping that out with maybe a 500 gig Samsung 870. Put it in there, so this machine will be really nice. Alright, so looking on the left hand side of the laptop, we have an SD card reader, which is going to be important because I have to, if I want to take some photos off of this camera, I can use that. My current machine, my gaming desktop, does not have any sort of SD card in mind. I didn't really plan on video editing on it, but I may need to add that soon to my machine. Maybe I'll do a video on it. But anyways, we have two USB 2.0s. This is a DisplayPort headphone jack. We also have a VGA monitor port. We have a vent on the back of the machine. We got another vent port. This is for the AC adapter, so you can plug it in to charge up the laptop. This enormous 9-cell battery as well. This is a 57++ battery in here. Bought an OEM one. Originally it said that it was having some issues with the battery. These actually do have a battery whitelist on them, so if you try to use a generic, it'll yell at you in the BIOS and in Windows that this is not a genuine Lenovo battery and it won't charge your laptop. So I restarted a couple of times, just let it sit. I've been using it for a couple days now and it hasn't given me a error code quite yet, so I'm gonna still look into that and see what's going on. But so far I hadn't had any issues. If anything, it's lasting a really long time on the battery between uses. Also, we got a gigabit Ethernet port, and then we have our laptop lock slot, so if you want to lock it down to a work surface, make sure that no one steals your laptop. Then we also have USB, another USB. This is the always on charging, so if you want to plug in a iPod, a phone, as long as the BIOS setting is turned on, it's always on. So plug it in there, it'll start charging your phone. And then also another great feature of this laptop is it has a optical drive. So if you want to add more storage to it, you can add a converter in there. So if you want to add a secondary hard drive, you can totally do that. There's also a option to add a 2242mm M.2 SATA only, unfortunately, but you can also add it as another form of storage as well. But I also like having this because I also rip movies, my own personal collection. But yeah, the whole 2 weeks that I've been using the machine with the hard drive and then going to the solid state, this machine's been great. The battery life has been excellent. The way it is, these machines are, I see myself using this machine for a pretty long time. Already loaded up with a couple of applications. Even I'm probably going to do a couple of videos on testing a few basic games. I definitely have more demanding games, but those aren't going to go on this machine. They're going to go on my desktop. But other than that, if there's any questions you have about the T440p, or if you want me to make another video about it, maybe some more upgrades here soon. I've pretty much done all the upgrades that I want to as of right now. Maybe get a bigger solid state, but that's about it. Having 16 gigs of RAM, the 9-cell battery, the i5 is still plenty for what I do. Maybe if I start getting to more intensive stuff where I may require maybe doing some video editing, maybe pushing it a little bit more, I'll probably do an upgrade video on the processor. But for right now, that's not anytime soon in my book, so once we get to there, we'll do a video and see the real true power of this thing. So thank you guys for watching the video. See you guys next time.